virtually today from my home office in Woodbridge, Virginia. I hope that you are all enjoying your Sunday morning, and I pray that you are healthy, well, and safe. I was asked today to share my thoughts and experiences around our theme, risking the loss of friends. And I have to preface this whole conversation with saying that I'm not the greatest public speaker, and I also don't like being on camera. So forgive me if I'm awkward or start reading from my notes. I'm going to try my hardest to channel my inner YouTuber and have confidence. So I want you to know that what I share is coming from my heart, and they are my own personal thoughts, and I do hope that something resonates with you today. So when I first read the theme, again, risking the loss of friends, I thought through how this theme can be interpreted and applied in so many different ways, especially in our current time. The scripture today said, "So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet, for I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you." And what does this mean? For me, it means that Jesus was showing them love. He showed them love by humbling himself, stripping away the high and mighty titles or perceived greatness of himself, and he was demonstrating humility. He did this through his actions, not his words, or not just his words. In washing the feet, he was serving, he was communing, and most importantly, he was forgiving, all at the same time. In his way, he was demonstrating that through these values, you can learn to free yourself and become closer to God. So the message is clear and simple. If you think about it, it's something that we can put into practice immediately. We can be ambassadors of love and hope by welcoming and serving those around us, no matter who they are, no matter what they did or didn't do for us, no matter what they did to us, and no matter their age, their sexuality, race, ethnicity, gender, etc. The aim here is to do as Jesus did, first by loving in practical ways, and then by accompanying those actions with words of hope and friendship. Now, while the message might be clear and simple, I'm often wondering, what happened? Why aren't all people ambassadors of love and hope, But I also want to be honest here. We are human, and sometimes we can be overcome with toxic behavior, such as jealousy, rage, anger, etc. Or maybe we're the victims of someone's toxic behavior. I think either way, we see that toxic behavior is risking the loss of any friendship or relationship. So what do we do when this happens? What do we do when toxic behavior is either within us or around us? And again, I'm not an expert here, but I do have an offering for you, an offering that I bring in the form of 2 phrases that are in Spanish and that I learned from my greatest teachers, which are my mom and my dad. So my dad always said to me, "Haz bienes y no te fijes a quienes." And this can be roughly translated as do good and don't pay attention to whom you're doing good for. So again, in Spanish, haz bienes y no te fijes a quienes. And it sounds better in Spanish because it rhymes, but you get the gist of it. And I think this is similar to what Maya Angelou has said in her masterclass, in Oprah's masterclass, where she featured Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou said, you know, just do right. Right may not be expedient, it may not be profitable, but it will satisfy your soul. You know what's right, so just do right. And that has always resonated with me as it relates to my father's phrase. Now, my mom always said to me, uno para su mejoría, hasta la casa dejaría. And this is roughly translated as, for one's own betterment, you would even leave your own home. So again in Spanish, uno para su mejoría, hasta la casa dejaría. And I've always related this saying to my career or my schooling, because I literally had to leave my home, the DC metropolitan area, and go to college in Iowa, which is far away. But it was for my betterment. And now I'm thinking, how can we better ourselves as ambassadors of love if we don't get out of our house? If we don't leave our comfort zones and go into our communities? We need to be able to engage and learn from people who are different from ourselves, and that's how we can better ourselves. So my final thought around risking the loss of friends is relating today's message to our current situation of the coronavirus pandemic and social distancing. And I'm sure you've heard about this a lot, so I will keep it very brief. In many ways, I do consider that there is a loss in our society. We've lost our ability to physically gather together and commune, to hang out with friends, to go to the mall, to go to church, or just have general interactions with folks that before you really didn't have to think much about. And now, at least for myself, I'm realizing that I might have taken some of those interactions for granted. Like getting your nails done, going to the barber, or going to your favorite bar and just sitting down, having a drink, and talking to the bartender, or talking to complete strangers around you. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but that is a form of communing, and I feel like that is something that temporarily we have lost. So in this time, though, I think it's most critical that we be ambassadors of love, even if it is virtually. So we're definitely still practicing social distancing, but let's be ambassadors of love virtually. And I challenge us to do 3 different things. And 3 different things as they relate to serving, communing, and forgiving. So with serving, let's be mindful of the people around us and in our communities. Keep in mind the elderly, people with compromised immune systems, or folks with a lower socioeconomic status. They may not be able to buy essential items at stores because they're already out of stock. They have a fear of getting sick, so they don't go to the store, or just simply they don't have the resources to buy essential items. Also keep in mind undocumented immigrants in the United States. There are many undocumented immigrants who obviously don't have a social security number, but they do have a tax ID number. Yet, while they may process their taxes, as folks are talking about the stimulus package that may or may not come out, we're not recognizing that this community may not benefit from that stimulus package. And they're still going through the same pandemic we are. So let's think through undocumented immigrants, for people coming to seek refuge in the United States, and what they're going through as well. Lastly, in serving, let's also give a special prayer to those who are serving as essential staff, medical workers, grocery store workers, people like my father, my dad, who works as a truck driver picking up recycling bins. Thank them, appreciate them, and give them a little prayer. Now, as it relates to communing, reach out to your friends and family, whether via phone, text, video messaging, social media. Just check in on people. Be very intentional about checking in on people and making sure they're okay and showing them that someone does care about them. Now, lastly, forgiving. And I want to relate forgiving to patience. It's a rough time for everyone. And let's keep in mind that stress and anxiety is high, and instead of spreading fear and anger against one another, we need to practice love and compassion through patience and forgiving folks. Let's forgive them for whatever attitude they may have or whatever happenstance they're going through. Let's practice forgiving through patience. So with all of that, I want to thank you for having me today, and God bless you. I hope you continue to enjoy your Sunday, and I hope that you have a wonderful week and continue to be healthy. Thank you all.